thanks for asking me. It's weird times, isn't it, at the moment? It's that, no one's ever thought this would happen or used to it. But things like this pass a bit of time, don't they? These, technology and stuff. So, yeah, it's thanks for asking me.
Yeah, no worries. I was going through YouTube yesterday, prepping, ready to get some questions to ask for you, and I came across the Micky and the Woody show. Yeah,
it's something we've just talked about things, like something over this end, a little bit different.
Yeah.
Potentially just trying to get people from obviously the sport and hopefully some other sports as well. Thought similar, obviously some kind of a podcast, maybe where they could flow into a show or something. So we just thought we'd give it a go, me and Woody, because we've been close friends for a long time. We had the gym together and stuff, and close friends, family friends. So yeah.
I was gonna ask, how did you come to the decision whose name went first?
Do you know what? I'm really surprised he's put my name first, Woody, to be honest. I weren't expecting Micky and Woody. We've got a fella who helps us out, Dave. He's a big Warrington fan, Dave Ditchfield. He's been brilliant, sorted it all out, and he kind of put like Micky and Woody. I think Woody must have just got along with that. But he'll probably won't be happy about it, but it's tough now. It's out there.
That's it. Stuck on it. You can't change it now.
No.
So we're going to hopefully try and work through a bit of your career and touch on some points and some memories, and try and make it like a bit of a comprehensive story of your career. So first of all, let's take us back to the beginning. You're a local Leigh lad. Was it always going to be rugby? I
think so. Yeah. I started playing rugby. I think my dad took me down when I was about 6 or 7, and I always remember my dad saying that I think from the first minute I took you, I could see that you loved it. You were straight in there with the ball, and then ever since growing up, I can remember I've always had a rugby ball in my hand, just throwing it around, kicking it everywhere I went. So yeah, I think rugby was always on the cards for me. In whether it be professional or amateur, I probably played rugby anyway, no matter what.
Yeah. Do you ever think back and think what you would have been doing if you hadn't started playing rugby professionally?
Yeah, obviously, on leaving school, I never envisaged being a professional rugby player. I still like playing and stuff, but I actually went to be an apprentice plumber.
Right.
But again, I did 2 years at that, and to be honest with you, all I wanted to do was finish plumbing and get home and go training. So, and to be honest with you, the company I work for, Paul Rowley.
All right.
Used to work for that as apprentice plumber, and Simon Baldwin as well. There were 2 ex-Leigh players who were apprentice plumbers. And I remember one of my interviews going for it, and the bloke said, "You don't play rugby, do you, from Leigh?" And I went, "No, not really, pal, no." And he went, "Oh, because I've had too many of these guys. They're always having time off for rugby." And anyway, I did play rugby, and I got picked for, I think it was Great Britain under-18s at the time, and I had to have a week off work. And anyway, but the bloke I was working with, he didn't tell him. He said, "Where's Micky?" He said, "Oh, he's down bottom at site, just doing some gutters down there." To be fair, the bloke, he blagged it for a week, said I was round the corner out the way. So, but obviously, he soon twigged that when I got a break at first team at Leigh, he pulled me in. He said, "You lying little get, you do play rugby, don't you?" But, you're all right with it, but yeah.
Yeah. So, what's it like as a local lad signing for the hometown team and playing professional and getting paid to play a sport that you love and playing for your town's team?
Yeah, obviously being a Leigh lad, I went watching home and away for a good few years for Leigh. Me, my mates, and all my dad, whoever.
Yeah.
My mates, parents, we used to jump in the car and we used to go all over watching Leigh. I love watching Leigh, and I always thought one day I'd love to get the chance to play. And then it was probably about 14, 15. That's probably when I was playing that, when kind of scouts come and looking to sign players. And our better players, probably our bigger players back in the day. If you're a bigger fella, you always kind of got signed up early because you're that bit bigger and obviously more physically developed. So my mates were signing for Warrington and Wigan, and a bit what the hell, nobody's really watching me. My dad again, he always just said, "Listen, don't worry about it. Just enjoy your rugby. You know what you can do. Just keep enjoying it and stuff, and a smile on your face." And
was you always a hooker back in them days as well?
Yeah. I think like any kid, when you first go down to any club, they chuck you out wing. They don't know much about you, and I said my dad will tell the tale more than me. I think I remember playing might have been a summer tournament somewhere, and I was on the wing, and some guys were at me, and I just kept cleaning them out, legs tattling, boom, and I think the coach said, "No, I don't think wings for you anymore, Mickey. I'll put you in the middle." So yeah, it kind of went from there, and yeah, kind of played hooker ever since, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, early age playing 9, but again, like I said, probably under 15, 16s. Leigh approached me, said, "Listen, we've not loads of money, but we'd be interested in coming playing for Leigh. Sign for the academy, and you say you go from there." So I thought, you know what a brilliant opportunity.
Exactly,
I can still do my work.
Hands.
Yeah, still do my work, my apprenticeship and stuff. If I'm just on leaving school and get a chance to, hopefully play for Leigh one day. So yeah, signed on. Played a year in the academy. Had a brilliant year because obviously, with being like academy at the times, especially with Leigh, we're not a lot of money. It was all local lads, so we're a lot of close friends as well that I played with. Right. So making a step up from amateur, to the academy with all your mates was fantastic. Playing at Light, we play Sheffield, Halifax, and some good teams. So yeah, we're good. Had a year there, and then kind of played a few games. What back then was the A team. That's probably like when you had your first team players.
Oh right, okay.
And a few others and it was any age then. It could be like 30 odd, 20 odd. It worked a certain age group, and that probably stand me in good stead, really, playing against like fully grown men and lads who've been there and done it before, who were coming to set towards the end of their careers or injuries.
Yeah.
So I got a few games on there, and then Ian Millwall just gave me the opportunity to play for the first team in a cup game, I think it was, and kind of never looked back since.
Fantastic. We'll touch on Ian Millwall a little bit later on, because you've played for a few clubs where he's been the coach, haven't you?
Yeah. Obviously, he come over to Leigh and gave me the first opportunity at Leigh. Then he took me to St Helens with him.
Right.
When he went over to Wigan, he took me to Wigan. So yeah, I've got a lot to thank for Ian, for giving me opportunities in rugby.
Yeah, we'll come back to that in a minute later on. Sorry, because I want to talk about like the coaching role and how the coach motivates the team and stuff like that. But fast forward into present day, what's happening over at Leigh at the moment in the present state that we find ourselves in with all the epidemic and furlough and all that kind of stuff? Are players being monitored fitness-wise, or what's happening with the state of the league?
Well, we're trying to do the best we can. Obviously, we've been furloughed, so I'm kind of just expecting and hoping the lads are, that are going to they're trying to look after themselves. And to be fair, they put a few videos on, keeping fit.
Yeah.
So kind of, they do. They're not obviously. They're not technically. They're not working under me at the moment. But they ask me for advice and stuff, which I'm happy to do that. So I've just given them some running sessions to do, or some weights they can crack on with.
Are they not watching your Try Fitness sessions on Facebook Live or out?
Well, no, they don't seem to be. No, which is a bit disappointing, really. Might be too hard for them. But, yeah, no. To be fair, what I've seen of them, they've been keeping really, really fit and doing the best they can. Which I tip my hats off to them, really, because I've always liked keeping fit, and I'm finding it hard at home to motivate myself. Like get in the garden or in the house and do a session. It's sometimes I think, right, I'll get up tomorrow and I'll do it, and you get up and it's like you put telly on, you'll have a brew, and it's like, before you know, it's like 11, 12 o'clock and you're like,
I know, so, it's hard to get motivated, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's probably another reason I've done them classes as well for my gym, trying to help people a bit of routine to, like they normally do when they come to the gym at 6 o'clock. So I put them on so they just hopefully just a little bit of something familiar or routine they can get into.
Something we've touched on loads in the other podcast that I've done is this routine and structure, sticking to, like you said, getting up at the same time every day. Don't just sit in bed doing nothing. Like, take charge of the day rather than letting it take charge of you.
Yeah, 100%. I watched a little piece on somebody the other day. I think he was like ex-Marine corporal or dead eye up, and he just said, like, something as little, just start off the morning with a little task, whether it's just making your bed and tidying up around you. You've got that first task underway, and you'll probably find yourself then that you end up doing more. And it's something I try to do that every morning, whether it's just come down and sweep and mop. I know people do it anyway, but like
it's just a structure and a routine, isn't it?
Yeah. So try to do that. So just something as little as that, whether it's go out and just water the plants in the garden and stuff. Just it gives you the first thing to get going. So yeah, I've tried to do that, but it's sometimes when you're
difficult. I know we all have our bad days and off days, but if we can more often than not stick to our little routines and habits, and like you said, do those little tasks that help us win the day or win the morning, then we can draw something from that, can't we? Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So we touched on there. Ian Millwood took you to St Helens. I'm a St Helens lad. I think at that point, that was when I was following rugby league. I don't really follow it that much anymore, but the team with like Paul Newlove, that was who I was a fan of Paul Newlove. What was it like going to Super League, going from Leigh to Super League?
Yeah, it was. I still remember my first day that I walked into the St Helens gym, the old Nosey Road. Our gym used to be under the stand that were like the players and directors, wives and families. We used to have the gym underneath there.
Was that the seated stand? The seated
stand?
Yeah,
the seated stand. Yeah. Underneath was they had some change. You had the change rooms there later on.
Yeah.
With the gym there as well, and I remember walking in. I'd just done a full season at Leigh. I was still only about 11.5 stone at the time, not even 12 stone, I don't think.
Wow.
I remember walking in. It was like you said, there was Paul Newlove, there was Kevin Iro, Sonny Nicol, Scully, Kieran.
Chris Joint there then as well.
Chris Joint was captain still, yeah. They were big like athletes, they've had full-time training for years. And I walked in, I was like, wow, what? Like they've got weights piled on the bar, squatting and benching. I'm like, I just saw it as an exciting challenge. And to be fair, I remember before I signed for Leigh, I remember Ian Millwood, he left Leigh to go to St Helens. I was still playing for Leigh.
Right.
He said to me at the time, I said, I'd love to take you with me, mate, but at the moment, I don't think you won't play any games. So, just keep developing at Leigh and we'll see what happens. So, kind of didn't think anything of it. Then obviously at the time, he come in and signed me, and yeah, I fitted in straight away really. And probably like, they still had some old school players back there. Then you had like your Anthony Sullivans, Tommy Martin, and all them. They kind of like, probably not sure you get away with it these days, but you kind of had to earn your stripes.
Right.
Like, it just shows how times have changed now. Like I walked in and I didn't just throw my bag down in the corner and pick a seat. It was like I walked in, popped my head where all the senior players were, and I thought, right, best not go in that changing room. So I went to the one where more like the younger lads were situated in the other, like dressing room for training. Just little things like that. And it was probably until like my first game I played. We played Whitehaven away in the Challenge Cup, and I think I might even got man of match, and it was all like you'd been accepted. It was like the older ones were like, all right, Mickey, well done, pal. It was all like you're in part of the team. It was like it was just different. But you kind of earn your stripes, and luckily I did it pretty sooner rather than later. And I had 5 fantastic years there. Really brilliant teams.
I was watching the 2002 grand final when Sean Long got the drop goal in the last like seconds. Was that your first like piece of silverware there?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was my first major final. That because obviously I'd been with the club since the 2001 season, and I didn't play. I'd only just signed and they played Brisbane in the World Club Challenge in 2001. I was 18th man, to be honest, so I didn't expect to play in that game. But again, it was all part of the learning experience for me. And then, I broke through, and then 2002 I ended up playing regular, and we got to the grand final. Yeah, and it was a special night. And to be honest, it's like a blur. It goes that quick. The grand final, it's frightening. It's frightening how quick it went. Yeah, and I say it was touch and go that game. Bradford were right up there as well. They were a quality team back then, and we always had great battles with them. And I said that grand final was no different. And fortunate for us, Longy, I think second time lucky, slotted one over, and that Paul Deacon had a couple of chances, put them over for one as well. I remember I chased out and put kick pressure on him and just grabbed hold of him, and he just hooked it wide.
Oh, right.
I always remember that, and like I always think to myself, everybody remembers like Longy's drop. Well, they don't remember me sprinting out and putting Paul Deacon off. But I'm sure the lads do. But yeah, it's funny you mention it because me and my youngest Alex were just flicking through the day, obviously just watching things because of the time you're at home and stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, come on, we're watching this one, the O2 grand final, and yeah, it was nice to look back. This this skinny little 21-year-old there running around at Old Trafford. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. How long does it take to sink in something like that, a victory? And does it sink in straight away, or does it take a few days after? And you think, hang on, we've done it, like, because it's a long slog of a season as well, isn't it? Or it was.
Yeah, it is. I think that's why like when some people said to me, what would you prefer, Challenge Cup or the grand final? And I'm like, no, don't take it. don't get me wrong, the Challenge Cup's so much history and like charisma about rugby league. Going to Wembley, the Challenge Cup, it's like your FA Cup, innit? But rugby, it's brilliant. But for me, if I had to choose one, I'd probably choose the grand final. Just think because all that hard work from starting November when you're running up hills, you're wrestling with your mates, and you're bleeding in training, and you're smashing each other, and you're going home absolutely sore as a boil, and then the season's always that long season. I think that pinnacle at the end that you've got made all the way to the grand final. For me, I think it just edges it, and I think when you're younger as well, you probably don't appreciate it much. I think like when I was young and just wanted like celebrating, go and have a drink after it. But like I think when you get older, you kind of, certainly when I won the Challenge Cups at Warrington, I kind of appreciated it more, and I think it meant more to me as well then.
Yeah. How much does it take? Because like you said, I don't know if people do appreciate it, and I certainly have got no sort of reference to it. How much does it take out of your body, physically and mentally, going through that long of a season and then going through the playoffs and then get to the grand final? What does it take out of your body doing all that?
Yeah, it does. It gets to you because, like, coming that back end of the season, you're probably 50-60% of players are carrying knocks.
Yeah.
What I think what a lot of people don't see is like how much strapping's going on at that time of season. Even like needles for like injuries. Lads having needles and for like
cortisol injections and all that.
Yeah, cortisol because they're carrying injuries. Because you don't want to miss. You don't want to miss that end of the season.
Yeah.
Every game's important, but I think when you start leading up to that, you call it the business end, where it's playoff time, and it's got that feel about it. That it's just starting going back into September, October. Then you feel, I don't know, the feel just changes for me, and it's brilliant to be part of it. But yeah, I think when it's all over, you don't realise that you need to switch off for a good few weeks, get yourself on holiday, but you'll find with any rugby lads, though, if they have 2 weeks off doing nothing, they start bleeding, the reds start going. It's
crazy, yeah.
Yeah, they probably, as much as they want to have time off, I think more than 2 weeks doing nothing, they get into like, again, routine and bad habits and that. So that's why you'll probably see that a lot of them have 2 weeks off and go on holiday, and then they'll start back on themselves.
Yeah.
Like training ticking over themselves, which I suppose it's what your body's used to, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And I think there's a certain mentality that you have to play at like the top professional sports, even like MMA fighters and boxers, professional boxers. If they're not in a training camp, they find it hard to motivate themselves to. They need to be in the gym, otherwise they would start going into these like negative behaviour patterns and stuff like that. And I'd imagine it's similar for rugby players to a certain degree.
Yeah, it is, and I think you don't realise it till it's finished and it's gone. You're being told what time to get to work, what time you're doing your weights, what time you're training.
Yeah.
What time you're back on after. And when you've had that for myself, 20 years as a professional, suddenly when that time comes and you've got to try and make your own routines and structure it, it's difficult. It is really difficult. I remember that time when I come working for you guys at the community for a few months.
Yeah.
Anna was saying, listen, just get in, relax, have a drink, just sometimes you're busy, sometimes you're not, just enjoy it. I'm like, I don't know if I ever showed it or nothing, but you were like, people will be like, oh, you should be enjoying that, relaxing, not too much work on that, having brews, taking your time. But like, on the inside, I was like, what can I do here? We're like,
well, again, it's out your comfort zone, isn't it? It's completely out your comfort zone.
And, on totally opposite spectrums, like, not physical work, really. I go to some schools, do some coaching, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Coming
back, but we could be in that room for, like, all afternoon, but with no work, just doing a bit of work on the computer. And it was like, honestly, it was a massive shock to the system. It really was. And
difficult, I know. I experienced similar when I left the MOD police. And again, it's all like routine and structure, hierarchy there. You've got your orders for the day. You know where you're going to be every hour of the day for your shift. And then coming back to an environment for the community department. And like you say, you organise your own timetable. And I was like, you can go for your dinner whenever you want. You can have breaks whenever you want. And I struggled with that transition definitely as well. So I appreciate what you're saying there. It is difficult.
Yeah, and even like when you retire playing, I've gone onto the coaching side at Leigh, and it's definitely second best to being a player. But again, it's like you don't realise how, I won't say fortunate you are how fortunate you are as a professional sportsman. You've got to work you've got to work damn hard to stay there and get there. But
Yeah.
again, like when you're a coach and that, you've got to get hours before, you go back and stay after. And again, just a different routine in that respect is difficult. And I think it's funny you mentioned it, because I was speaking to Woody the other day, and like, for me personally, just nothing comes close for me as being a rugby player. Right. And that's where you've got to try and find that drive to like get as close as you can to that, because it weren't a job to me being a rugby player. It was something I've done since a 7-year-old kid, and it was a privilege to wake up every day and get a chance to go training with, and do something I love, and to get paid for it was a massive bonus. So I think when you've got that and it's got to finish sometime, it's, for me at the moment, nothing.
It's hard, I don't know.
I won't say I've not got the passion to do like how I did it with rugby, but it's just like it's not. I don't know. It's just not quite there at the moment how I had for playing, and I'm sure it'll come with time. I've spoken to a few lads that have struggled when they finish playing, but they said, time again. It's an old saying, time is a good healer.
Exactly.
The more it goes on, you do get used to it. But
I think if you're open to it, the idea of it, eventually you will find that thing that gives you that drive and that passion again. I think that the worst thing you can do is close yourself off to things and not seize opportunities. So, for example, like the podcast you've just started with Woody, you don't know where that's going to go. So if you're open to that idea and embrace it and go with it, you never know, that might turn into something that gives you that buzz again.
Yeah, definitely. And I did enjoy it the day, two lads who had spent a lot of years playing with as well, Paul at St Helens and Leigh at Warrington, two close friends as well. So again, that's a good thing about rugby. You do make close mates, even though you probably don't keep in contact as much as you should. But like, it's just, not seen well or like properly for like, in his company for a good few years, but we had a chat and it was like you've never been away. So it just shows what kind of, people you are and mates you make.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, again, it's, sorry, Dave.
I was going to say, I think because you've all played at that high level, you've got so much respect for each other, and you can all appreciate what each individual's done to get to where they've got to, and the things they've put their body through, the mental side of it, the experience of a team, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely, because like I said, when you're a full-time professional, and I said people at work, you probably end up spending more time with them than you do with your families at times. Certainly as a rugby player, I know there's great perks to being a rugby player. Like I got the chance to take my kids to school mornings and certainly pick them up in afternoons, which not a lot of dads get that chance to do at times. So there's great things, but then on the flip side, your weekends are occupied with rugby and stuff. You don't always get to see your lads play their rugby and football on a weekend if you're playing. So there's pros and cons of it, but you end up becoming like a band of brothers, really, to be honest, because when you cross that white line, you're going into battle with them, as like say when you were in your force, when you were doing that, you've got to be close knit and ready to work as a team. Else, it doesn't always happen. And I don't know, when you have that strong bond with everybody for so long, you become like family as well. So it's again, adjusting from that.
You put in your body, essentially, you're putting your body on the line for your teammates, aren't you? Yeah,
of course, yeah. And you probably only do that for your family, wouldn't you? And close friends. There's not many people who do it for anybody else. And I think when that's gone, it's like, wow, you've not got that. I struggled like early on this year on the conditioning. I'd get the lads warmed up and do some activation stuff and a bit of speed work or whatever. And then, Duffs would be right, over to me, boys. And I was stood there and I'm like, that's me done now for this session tonight. I'm like, what? Just stood there watching. I'm like, what the boys get the ball out and do the team stuff. And it was like, wow, I'm never going to do that ever again. I've been doing it for 20 years. And you've just got to get your head around it. And
I know. Is that something you always envisaged yourself going into, the coaching side of it?
Again, when I was younger, no. But I think more I got older, and I think I did enjoy. I've always enjoyed the training side of it. I have, and it's been interesting. I've had the privilege to work under some, world class coaches. So I just thought, when you've had that experience to work under people like that, even conditioners as well, I think, stupid not to, try and give something back and have a go at it. It might end up down the line and it might fizzle out and not end up being the right thing to do. But at the moment, I'm really enjoying it. I feel like I've got the experience to give, and pass on. And
yeah,
well, I speak to a good friend of mine, Bubble. He's the conditioner at Warrington. He just said it's a little bit edgy, a bit nervous, like taking the role on, going from player straight in at the deep end to coach. He just said to me, he said, I've trained you as a player at Warrington. He said, just go off what you believed, your work ethic, how you apply yourself, your standards. He said, if you apply most of them to your training, to your players, he said, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Everybody, the science behind it and, the studying, is difficult, but I'm getting around that a little bit. Hopefully I'll get that boxed off. But again, I've been there and done it all, and I know what works in rugby. I know what lads like training wise, and
that's an important thing, isn't it? You've got the respect of the players, haven't you? When you stand there from the coaching role, you've got that respect.
Yeah, and I'd like to think I have. Yeah, this lad seems to respect me. I'm an approachable fella as well. I have a laugh as well. So I try and get that balance right. We're all right, come on, we'll make it fun. But as long as you do the hard work for me as well, then I think I'd like to think we've got a decent balance. Certainly, this year, and it's obviously prior to all this, this pandemic going on, we'd made a solid start to the year, so it was going all right. It's just a shame.
Yeah, I was going to touch on it a bit later on, but while you kind of mentioned it, we'll get onto it now. As a coach, and you being a player as well, when you coach someone, do you have to coach the team generally, or do you have to coach individuals, or is it a bit of both?
It's a bit of both. I think you've got to know. For me, obviously, I'm relatively new to it side, but obviously, I've been a captain the team for the last few years, and I've played under, like I said, playing a good coach, and I've played with world class players as well. And I think a good coach has got to know his players, and he's got to know how to handle his players, because, coaching Gareth Hock to say, Gaz Hawke, and I don't on the other spectrum, so like somebody I don't know, Michael Monaghan, who's at Warrington,
two different kinds of players,
two different personalities, two different kinds of players, both very, very talented, and but I don't think you could treat one like you could even myself to speak. I think if Tony Smith at the time at Warrington had treated Gaz Hawke like he'd have treated me, Gaz would have ended up probably punching his lights out or walking away. But like with me, Tony knew that I could take it. He could almost sometimes make an example of me, and he'd tip me up and say, listen, Mickey, there's a clip here, I might just show you because I know you can take it.
Yeah.
We might end up having a bit of fun off the back of it. And he knew he could do that to me. And to be fair, I think he knew that drove me on as well, when he'd kind of say, listen, Mickey here, and he knew I'd go and work hard at it.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like Gaz, he'd probably spit his dummy and tell him, piss off, do you know what I mean? It's like, you've got to know to, I think coach your players, but then you've got to be in a team sport as well. When you've got to bring it all together and make everybody tick as well. And
how important is it to have the sort of the bigger egos or the bigger players on the team? How important is it for them to be invested in like the team sort of the team culture to bring like the younger ones up?
I'm
buy-in from them as well, surely.
Yeah, I'm big on that, to be honest, Dave. I think it's massive, and I know some coaches don't have it, some do. Some a lot of coaches now and teams have like leadership groups.
All right.
So you pick your 4 or 5, say senior, your captain, your vice, and 2 or 3. Even you might chuck a younger player in there who's got like an old head on him, or excuse me. And I think that's massive, because certainly in our team, I think if you can be player driven as well, because if you've got your senior players setting the standards and driving the disciplinary or whatever, then I think the lads who are not willing to do that will soon get found out. So I think having good players in, good professionals and some good egos in, I think it's finding that mix as well. I think that's vital. I do.
I don't know if you've been watching that Michael Jordan documentary on Netflix, have you?
Do you know what? I've not watched it yet, but I know Duffs and Jay and the staff have. They can't start watching it.
It's fantastic, and one of the biggest things I took from it was what we've just been on about the Chicago Bulls, and Michael Jordan didn't start winning as a team. Michael Jordan was getting all individual accolades and highest points, MVP, all these records But the Bulls as a team weren't winning until Phil Jackson, the coach, said to Michael, you need to make everybody else rise to your level. It's not all about you, it's about the team. And once he started embracing a team ethic, and including everybody else and passing the ball and working as a team, that's when they started winning championships.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think I'll use, say, at Leigh. I think Warrington, certainly the St Helens teams, because we had that many players that, like, it's a pinch. If things were happening on the field, we could change the game as players and influence it ourselves. Where I've played in some teams where they've had to wait for the coach to come down and tell us to change the plan or whatever. And probably like, say that the year at Leigh when we went up, Dukesy took over from Rolls, and again, Dukesy didn't change much, but I'd like to think that the players we had in our team at the time, like myself, Harrison Hansen, Rennie Matua, Willie Tonga was playing then and stuff, and a few more, Gazok, we could say, listen, right, let's pull it in here now. And I certainly something that I kind of prided myself on, probably later in my career, that I had the confidence to start doing that a bit more.
Yeah.
Early in my career, when you were young and playing with like your Schoolthorpes, Cunningham, Longs, it kind of just listen to them and stuff, and and that's where you learn from that. And then when I got older, probably potentially more in that position like they were.
Yeah.
We had that influence to say, right, well, this ain't working for us here.
Yeah.
Like let's do this, and I think that's, like I said, something to like
experience, isn't it? That comes from having that experience. Like, you're learning, you're listening, you're not making yourself sort of. You're more the grey man when you're starting off, aren't you? And you're learning and listening, and then once you gain that experience, that allows you to be confident enough to step up and lead. Then, doesn't it?
Yeah, and like I remember it. I think I touched on it on the me and Woody's thing show the other day about, like, under Tony Smith, Tony, and even me, Ian Millwall, early as well. He said, listen, we've got some game plans here. He said, but you rugby players, you play off instinct and stuff as well. I always, for me, it was like, we've got a game plan, but if I can see some space there on the right, we've only got 2 defenders and I've got 3 attackers.
Yeah.
I think you'd be stupid not to take that. And that's, that's been taking a bit of onus yourself. And,
of course it is.
Like, I remember, Tony Smith used to always say, like, a lot of people, you have a set-up player, take one in. He said, but sometimes you probably score off them set-up players if you have your mates pushing with you and reacting and stuff. So it's, you don't see a lot of teams scoring off the big fancy player. They might do the fancy player, break them down, and then go on the next one and score and stuff. It's like magic play might happen once every 50.
Yeah.
But it's them little selfish acts for me that get you tries, that when you push for your mate and it creates a space for you, or you pass to him and he goes through, and that's the rugby player in you. And I've always been fortunate to play some coaches that we've had game plans, but we've said, listen, if you see things that are wrong, you play it and do it. And I think that's what the better teams do play as well. That's like player driven, and obviously individual.
You can have them little moments of, like, creativity. And I remember, like I was saying before, when I was watching rugby, and Sean Long had always just come out with these little brilliant plays of creativity, maybe not going towards a plan, he'd just chip over the top or something, and then it'd come out to nothing. That's what I'm saying.
Like, that's, for me, that's sometimes that's the difference in winning games and not. A lot of teams do practice the same moves, the same skills, and the same game plans and stuff. There's only so many moves you can do, but I think that little bit of individual brilliance, or who can execute that player the best, it's them are the difference. And certainly when you're under fatigue as well is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's where I've always had good coaches that we've kind of trained under fatigue, trying to work on our ball work and skill.
Yeah.
When you're fatigued, because everybody can run, and you can do your passing, but I think teams that are like execute better under pressure and under fatigue, you take that into games. I think that's where you can really.
So how have teams tried to replicate that then? Like, when you was a player, what sort of things have some of the teams done to try and get you to play fatigued and so you can try and mimic that game?
Yeah, like we'd probably, for example, we'd say do a block of conditioning where, like, we're up off the floor, up down, 8-minute block, going hard as you can, and say, right, boom, you're over to the coaches now. You've got a push game.
Right.
Well, like your sided game, if you don't get at least one push either side of the bloke carrying the ball, you change the ball over. If you do that 2 or 3 times and you've just been flogged and you've got to defend a few minutes without the ball,
Yeah.
You get pissed off that, right, listen, I'm going to push him, matey, because then we keep hold this ball. So like just them kind of scenarios.
Yeah.
Like I went to Wigan beginning of this year just to have a look at some stuff that Wigan do, and what Wigan do, which I think is pretty good, that I've tried to take into my coaching as well, is like you kind of train it, say, worst case scenario.
Right.
So if a game's like, if you're playing a test match level game, you're probably looking at your meters per minute, for example, because you're running at that intensity, you're probably getting up to like 80 odd, 90, nearly 100 meters per minute.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sound a lot, but in rugby terms, it's massive.
Right.
So if you can kind of replicate your conditioning and your games to that standard, and hopefully when you take into games, you're well conditioned for it. So that's just an example for like that. Yeah, so that's kind of things that we're kind of replicate.
I remember talking to Mado, and I can't remember what pre-season training it was for, which team, but he went on like a Marine commando, like beasting. They had him in, I don't know if you was involved in that as well, but they had him in like the sea and the ocean, and they were wet all day for like 24 hours, and some people could handle it, like the mental side of it, not knowing when it was going to end, and others couldn't.
Yeah, I say I've been on one or two, and again struggled, but really enjoyable though on the other side of it. Yeah. It's probably, again, your body, probably not so much your body, obviously physically you go through loads, but I think them little camps and weekends are certainly to test you up there. And he probably, as a coach, he probably gives you indicators. You're right, he's a leader for me, this guy. Yeah. Well, he's probably gone on his shell a bit and let other people lead. He's not going to be a leader for me this year and stuff. So I think it's really, it's certainly probably Duff's. We went this year as well. Went to one near Rivington. Bit of team building stuff, but some tough exercise stuff as well. And I think Duff's confirmed his captains from that. Our 2-day camp. Because it kind of showed them. It showed people who were, who come out and like really was leaders, and it showed a few people that like, wow, he surprised me in there. Like I think it really brings some players out that like, especially newish players that you're not sure or quiet lad in, but when he comes out and he's put against back against the walls, they kind of show some true colours in it, and it's good. It's a good eye openers. Then it's obviously it's just a mental test as well to make you stronger as well.
Definitely. I was reading Sir Clive Woodward's biography. When he won the World Cup with England in, was it 2003, I think?
Yeah.
And he was saying how before like the sort of campaign started, he took all his team out on like the Marine Commando courses, and he was looking at who started to be, at what point did people start being negative, and who started like creeping in with little insidious comments and stuff. And it was the people who he thought were like the leaders in the team were the first people to start becoming negative, and that like switched his whole starting lineup around off that basis.
Yeah, it is. It's mad how kind of sometimes you think like your lads that have been there, done it or whatever, or you think that have been your main go-to men and things like that kind of show. So well, maybe not. You can have both effects. It brings out your, like say, natural leaders, but then it brings out your lads who are like, well, maybe you've not quite got it to cut it where we want to go, moving forward. So yeah, it's I think they're a brilliant indicator.
Yeah. So what? I know you might not be very comfortable talking yourself up and bigging yourself up, but what qualities as a leader? Because like you said, you captain Leigh for the last, is it 3 years? You captain Leigh?
Yeah. 3, 4 years.
What sort of qualities do you think you bring out as a leader? Because
again, it's a tough one because I say you know me, Dave. I'm not I'm quite humble, to be honest. I don't kind of see myself as like one of them. But
I think the big one for me, like I do know I have worked with you in the community department, but I don't know you that well. And I would say that for me, it's leading by example. You know what I mean? I think a big one for me would be that you wouldn't expect anybody else to do something that you're not willing to do, and you're the consummate professional. You know what I mean? You do everything you need to, and you expect people to take you.
Yeah. No, cheers, Dave. And I think that's one thing I kind of realised that again when I get that little bit older. I always trained as hard as I could. I always tried to, be the best I can. And I think that kind of was one of my qualities, like certainly coming to Leigh in the back end at Warrington, that, I think players kind of looked to me as an example, like, if we can emulate what Micky does in his training, how he applies himself, and even away from it as well. Never. I like a drink like everybody else and little things like that, but do it at the right times and when to say right, enough's enough and stuff. So yeah, probably, like I said, probably my standards are probably what a lot I'd like to think that got me where I am.
That's a good word. That's a good word to describe it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of respected me for my standards and me, how I apply myself. So yeah, probably that's one of my biggest strengths, and probably I'd like to think my actions as well. That I've always tried to give 100%.
Yeah.
I've had shocking games. I've had brilliant games. I've had average games, but it was never through lack of effort. And I think that's what kind of people appreciate. That at least he's given his, he's not shunting his work. He's giving 100%. So yeah, I think there's some of the qualities. And because I'll be honest with you, I struggled to speak for a lot of years. Very nervous speaking in front of teams. Right. If we're doing game planning, because Tony Smith was big on your input. I want players' input like this game plan. I feel like he had something great to say, and sometimes I didn't always say it, and then somebody else is saying, I was like, God, I wish I'd have said that. At first, and it took me a while to get there, and I remember speaking with Tony, he said, listen, don't worry about other people. You know what lads like, they're always going to take the mickey, but you say what you feel you need to say, and they'll, in later down the track, they'll appreciate it. That lads take the mickey, like when, and things like that. But yeah, so that was something that I kind of got better at as I got older as well. Leadership as in speaking and being more vocal. And again, probably didn't give myself enough confidence that probably when I did speak, probably people did listen because of what I've done and stuff. And again, how I applied myself and that. So yeah, that was something I wish I'd done a little bit earlier. But
leadership's an interesting subject, isn't it? Because I don't think not everyone is born to be a leader, but some people maybe should be leaders who aren't necessarily cut out for it. I think it's something that can, again, touching on the role of a coach, is to try and bring this out to people who maybe might not see themselves as natural leaders. It can be nurtured, can't it, and brought out. And I think it's important for people to lead it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, you can see your natural leaders in sports teams. You know who's your natural leaders, and who's kind of probably got potential, but need to, like you said, just work with it a little bit more. And I think good teams that I've been in and successful teams, all right, you'll have a captain on the field, but you'll probably have 6 or 7 captains on that field around the park. It's one guy gets the privilege of having the C next to his name doing the coin toss, but especially being rugby players now, like with the interchange as well, your captain more often than not might be off the field for 20, 30 minutes in a game having a spell. So, you need captains on when they're not. Like I say, I had the privilege, I call him he's a very close friend as well, Adrian Morley now. Moz, around training in games, he never spoke a lot.
All right.
But when he did speak, you all listened, and he was probably one more his actions that led you. You knew, if you were running out next to him, you knew you were going to war with somebody decent there next to you. Now he's, like your Benny Westwood. Benny's, I know you can't shut him up nowadays, but again, Benny was never a real talker. He never talked out loud and, fluent and stuff. But when your back's against the wall, then people like that, they said, just give me the ball here. And they'd inspire you. And just by doing an action where, they'd pick somebody out and just go, boom, get you on a quick play of the ball. And the game can change just like that, momentum. And it's little things like that that's inspiring in other ways. And Sean Loughlin was very same as well.
Yeah.
I remember watching a little article on Sean the other week, and he thought, personally himself, he got thrown in the captaincy at Wigan too early, he said. But he said also that made me into probably the captain I am today. They had to learn fast. So, yeah, there's different areas and different ways. And, Sean's become probably a natural leader, probably more so his actions as well, his influence. And so, yeah, you've got your captains who'll chirp up and, your typical half-backs and scrum halves and standoffs who, you're chirping away, but then you've got your bigger blokes, your forwards who are captains who are more actions, probably, leading with their actions. So it's, if you've got that nice blend of a few of each, generally you'll do well.
Yeah, it builds a good team dynamic. So you, from St Helens, you went to Wigan after St Helens. Did you get much stick for being a Leigh lad going over to Wigan?
Yeah, I did, to be fair. Yeah. I didn't
even know that existed. Me started working in Leigh, a number of years ago, and I didn't realise the divide between Leithers and Wiganers.
I know. It's mad, isn't it? It is. It's a quite a big rivalry, to be honest. And obviously, Saints Wigan's a big rivalry as well. So yeah, nothing.
But at least they're two separate places. Lee's in Wigan.
So yeah, nothing runs smoothly with me for some reason. But yeah, again, I left Saints. We were getting to a point where Kieran Cunningham was still playing well. Young James Roby was coming up. You know, he were on the cusp of like first team all the time. I think he still had Scott Moeller at the time, and I was getting to an age where, you know, 27, 28 nearly, I needed to kind of be my own man and, you know, a new challenge. And yeah, Millwall went to Wigan, and you know, again, it was still, the team was local. You know, it was a good deal. You know, everything worked. But Saints, they just wouldn't sell me to Wigan. Yeah. They won't let me go to Wigan. He said, Eamon McManus, the chairman, he said, listen, you can go anywhere else, but you're not going there. Well, I'm like, well, I've agreed to go, mate. You know, all the terms have been agreed. He said, no, you're not going. So, fortunate for me, at the time, I think Terry was making plans to make me move on to Bradford. So, they must have spoke to each other, and they did kind of a swap deal. I signed for Bradford, then swapped over to Wigan. Tez did the same. It was bizarre, really, but luckily I was on camp with Great Britain in Spain when it all happened, so I didn't really. I worked in the background. It kind of was in the background away. So yeah, it kind of managed to get the deal done and moved on to Wigan. Yeah, I had 3 good years at Wigan. Because to be honest with you, at the start of Wigan, Dave, we lost our first 5 or 6 games, and we were like, I think we got some points deducted for salary cap breaches or something as well, and we were like, it was a scary time.
Yeah.
You know, like, rugby's all you've kind of known. It was like, potential club might get relegated, you no job, you know, like, we didn't know what was going on. And to be fair, we turned it round and we ended up having a good season, and I think we missed the playoffs by like 1 point or something. But yeah, we built on that and ended up having 3 good years at Wigan.
And then from Wigan, I mean, you spoke about Warrington quite often in our conversations so far. Is maybe Warrington, like, do you have the more fondest memories of being at Warrington?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I love. Don't get me wrong. I've played for three the biggest clubs in England, and it's everyone's different in their own way. And again, I enjoyed every minute of everyone because I was doing something I loved. Do you know what I mean? We weren't getting up going to work today. It was like getting up and, you know, what challenges bring today. It was brilliant. But you know, probably in my younger days at Saints, when I was at my fastest and my quickest, and you know, I loved my time at Saints. And Wigan probably made me probably not quite. It didn't quite happen right for us at Wigan at the time. It was a big, massive transition period at Wigan at the time when I was there, and fortunately, they didn't retain my services after that. And you know, I'll not go too much into that because it, you know, a little bit disappointing how that ended. Probably, you know.
Okay, mate.
Yeah, well, you know, I can mention. I'm not bothered, to be honest with you. It was like, to get told by one person. It was basically like this. It was a chairman and the coach at the time saying, like, one of them is keen to move you on. And then the other one said the other one's keen to move you on. It was like, you just want a bit of honesty, don't you? In anything.
Yeah, no one was really taking like responsibility of it, passing it on to someone else.
It was disappointing because, to be honest with you, I didn't think the hooking area at the time was an area that needed improving at Wigan. Thought I had myself there, you know, kind of maturing at the time. I had young Micky McLaurin underneath us. You know, Micky was becoming to a good player.
Yeah.
We had at least 2 good hookers and a young lad as well. I think at the time, I can't remember him. I just probably thought there's other areas that could have been strengthened, but you know, that was by the by, and an opportunity come at Warrington. So it was again, you know, one door closes, other door opens at times, and it, fortunately for me, you know, I got the move to Warrington.
Yeah. And Warrington was, if I'm right in saying it, have you played most of your games at Warrington? Out of your 500 appearances, was the majority of them at Warrington? That's where you spent most of the time? Yeah, I think I played, might have been 170 odd nearly.
Yeah. Maybe higher than that, I don't know, yeah. So I played most, spent, you know, my largest part of my career, I think, at Warrington. You know, again, we got some success there, Challenge Cups.
Yeah.
You know, we got some.
You mentioned before about the Super League Grand Final being, in your opinion, it was what's the word? Not better, but you valued that higher than the Challenge Cup. But for every young lad's dream wanting to play rugby, because we're about the same. Well, we are the same age, aren't we? Getting the bus down to Wembley when he was like late teens, early 20s. you must have wanted to play in a Challenge Cup final at Wembley.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, again, it's went watching as a kid in say when your teenage years, you jumped on bus with your mates and you went down on always a sunny day at Wembley. And it's fantastic. And I thought, how good would it be to play there one day? I always remember going. You should go on fields with the mates playing rugby, and you used to always say, the Challenge Cup final, you're on, you're scoring your tries on field playing rugby. And it was always Challenge Cup, wasn't it? And so when 2009 again, we had a difficult start to that year at 2009 at Warrington, but Tony Smith come in and just really turned us round, and we got the chance. We got the Wembley appearance at 2009, and I'll be honest with you, I just remember that day that I remember looking in the tunnel and I saw the Huddersfield players all lined up, and they were trying to be like bopping away, cool. Yeah, we're all right here. And I thought, you know what, you ain't going to win this today. Honestly, I remember it so clearly. We were lined up, focused. They were they were trying to play it down because they were nervous or what. And I thought, we beat them here already in the tunnel. We got them. Yeah. And I'm telling you, and I'll be honest with you, I never thought for 1 minute that we'd lose that foul in the game. And
just a feeling that you had in the tunnel.
Yeah. Honestly, I remember it. Yeah. Because I always like looking across me at the tunnel, just at the opposition, quick look across, and they were rocking their heads. A couple even just pretending as though they got music on, I'm good here. And I thought, nah, you're not. I don't think you're going to realise what's going to wait you. When they walked out, boom, the roar. Because Warrington had not been to a final for, I think it was 30 odd years or whatever, so long for Warrington players and fans and the town. Yeah, it was unbelievable, and to get the win, oh God, it was. But again, that first win, it just gives you that hunger you want to win more. Then, I think that's the thing as a sports person as well. Maybe not every person, I think some people they might be happy with just winning one, whatever. But certainly for me, it was you get a taste of them games like that. You want to be involved in more.
I think that's the case for any professional sports person in the 1% of the sport. You want to win more, don't you? You're not happy with just with one. You want to win more.
No, and again, the year after we got the Challenge Cup, and I think we got to the semis again, and we just had that feeling again that we're here again. And for me, special teams can go back to back and win things. I think that's what makes a special team, and for us to win. And it was interesting. I think it might have been Lee Breers and maybe Tony Smith. He said we're not going to Wembley again retaining our trophies. We're going there to win it again. Only just a subtle change.
Different mentality. Yeah.
We're not defending our trophy here. We're going there to win that trophy again. And I just thought, to me, that's a bit of a change.
Switch.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Whether it works or not, but I think for us, we're going there to win it again. We're not defending it. And I thought, that was massive for us. And I think we got there again in 2010, the year after, and we put a quality lead side absolutely to the sword. It should have been. I think we should have nilled them, to be honest, at Wembley. So dominant, 30-6 we beat them. It was another special day.
Yeah. So they were the victories at Warrington as well. You had some losses in the Super League final, losing the final a couple of times, if I'm right.
Yeah.
How do you deal as an individual with loss? Do you dwell on it? Do you, as soon as you've finished it, throw it away and move on? Or
well, I say again, it was 2012 was our first grand final, and we played Leeds, and we beat Leeds at Wembley that year in the Challenge Cup 2012 as well. So we were going for a double, special. Yeah. Again, brilliant year, probably one of the best teams I've been involved with. And again, I don't know, we come out the blocks and we were flying again, and then Leeds being Leeds, Leeds. I tip my hat off to Leeds at grand finals. They find a way to win it. It's mad until you play against it and realise it. You could just see the wave coming, the momentum changing. It was wow, they're on the front foot here, and we just couldn't get it back.
Can you put your finger on what that change is? What it is that happens?
Maybe that first year, it could have been more us as a team that maybe a bit like rabbits in headlights when we got into a lead and thought we'll be all right, and then we couldn't deal with the arm wrestle back into our favour. It was the pressure of the first grand final for Warrington, and I remember that when the whistle went, I dropped to my knees that day. I was in tears because it'd been 10 years since I'd been at a grand final, and I just wanted it so bad, and not to get it. It was so deflating for me. I remember I couldn't hold my emotions in. It was it was a tough time. It was a tough time, and I was flat for weeks after that. I'll be honest. I struggled to come over that one for a long time.
Right.
And probably only till we went back pre-season and all the lads were training again that kind of your focus switched again now, to pre-season and back in. It was that was a tough time. It was tough, because I think the desperation, the desire to get there for so long, and again, all that's the massive part of sport for me. The flip side, that all that year's hard work, and Leeds have got that grand final glory. We've worked hard all year, been one of the best teams, in that last final game, it almost felt like all that hard work for nothing. But it's not for nothing. You'd sooner, for me, I'd sooner lose in a final than not get to a final. And some people are like, well, I'd sooner lose it semi and not play there. But no, you sooner get to that final and experience it. But at the time, it was like all that hard work all year, like for nothing. But it weren't for nothing, because it kind of, you don't realise it spurs on for the year after. And, we got there again the year after.
Yeah, exactly. When we spoke about experience before, it just builds that experience, doesn't it? So when you're in them kind of games again, you draw back on the previous experience that you've gained from that time, don't you?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, again, 2013, the year after the grand final, was a bit of deja vu. We played Wigan, but I feel the circumstances were different against Wigan. We had some tough luck. We had 2 or 3 real bad injuries that meant that we had to shuffle a team around. We lost our winger, we lost our fullback. I think if you're in a grand final against a good, young, strong, fit Wigan team, if you're losing 2 or 3 key players in key moments of a game, it's a difficult task, and you're asking them players that were like out of position to play long minutes. Right. And they're not used to it. So it didn't feel as, I weren't as gutted as the year before. Don't get me wrong, I was still heartbroken that we didn't win, but I kind of knew that circumstances were different. And to be honest with you, we were winning, I think we were winning 14-6 or 16-6 at half time. And honestly, I thought it worked for our perfect first half of rugby against Wigan in the final, but the injuries in the second half and stuff, that again you could see the momentum change. But I knew that we couldn't do anything about this now. It was too much. The ball were rolling, and Wigan had the foot on the pedal, and you could fan it. You kind of sense it, because against Leeds the year before, we still had a good opportunity that we could have won it, but we knew that the game had gone with 15-20 to go, and it's tough that when you're not going to win it. But it was one of them. It's a learning curve, and it's an experience. Yeah,
of course. So then, from Warrington, you got the chance to move back to your hometown team again, original team. What was it like going back to Leigh, where it all started?
Yeah, it was a bit surreal, really. It was it's always something I kind of spoke about. I said, I would like to go back to Leigh and, finish there. Not to a point where I just go and pick up a pay packet and toss it off. Do you know what I mean? And be injured for long periods, and
still be competitive. You want it to
still play a good part. And again, 2015, probably played 3 or 4. Oh, I don't know. I can't think how many games at Warrington, and I'd heard Leigh that had some interest because they needed a 9. They were, with aspirations to. They were looking to go up that year and stuff. And I got wind of it, and it was a difficult decision, to be honest, because I still, I had the year left at Warrington. Yeah. And it was a tough decision, but I felt it was one that I had to make, and it was quite sad, really, how I finished off at Warrington, especially under Tony Smith. We ended up falling out over it, to be honest. And
all right,
and I say hello to Tony in that now, but it's definitely not the same as it was under Tony, and quite sad, really. It was emotional, and I just said to Tony, it's something I feel like I need to do, and he's like, I understand it. I understand completely what you're saying. You're a Leigh lad and all that. He said, but you're contracted to the end of this season, and I'm like, well, Tony, I've got potentially, if I don't make the move, I'm not going to get the contract and the deal. And what not a lot of people know is that it was unbeknown to me as well that I weren't going to get a new contract at Warrington that year, because they gone up to the salary cap with the new signings they brought in, and I had to get told that off another player.
Right.
And what was disappointing on my part is that Tony Smith didn't say that to me, and kind of made me out be the bad guy a little bit, and which I can understand, because I suppose you've got a contract to fulfil. You kind of, and I think he was disappointed in that respect. But then on the other side, I managed to play another 3.5, 4 seasons after that, where
Yeah.
he was probably expecting me to retire at Warrington. So it was a massive call, and I got upset at times, but I did some things that probably I didn't want to do as a player, kind of stand my ground and stuff, and wasn't me, to be honest. But
right.
I had to do it to get the move to come through. And I think Tony at the time was resigned to the fact that he knew I wanted to go. My head weren't there anymore, and it wasn't like me. But sometimes you've got to do some things that you go outside your comfort zone. And I parted on bad terms with Tony. It's a shame, really, because I think a lot of Tony, and hopefully we could sit down one day and have a chat about it and over a drink or something. And
you feel like you did the right thing for you at the end of the day?
Yeah, I did the right thing for me and my family and stuff as well. I said that to Tony. I said, it changes when you've got family and stuff, and it was the right thing for me. And I'm 5.5 years later, I'm still working at Leigh, and it was the right move.
Yeah. So at this point, Leigh were in the first division. Is that?
Yeah. So the championship underneath the Super League game, they were flying high. They've been top team for a few years. We were probably untouchable in that league, and I was coming to a team that were full of confidence. We were playing well. They'd had some good. They'd had a fairy tale Challenge Cup run, right? So that you couldn't write it. I signed for Leigh. The week Leigh were playing Wakefield in the Challenge Cup, and they had a brilliant comeback against Wakefield away. They won the second half for like 30 points and ended up winning. And they did the quarter-final draw live on telly. And I remember being at our house. I was doing some painting in the house. And my wife, Kate, were watching. I said, just let us know who we get in next round. And for some reason, I just knew we'd get Warrington. And my missus was sat there. My mum was there as well. I'm just painting the door. The next minute, I heard these two women scream. And I went, honestly, I dropped the paintbrush. I thought, oh, fuck. We've got Warrington. She went, we've got Warrington away. I was like, oh my God, you can't write it. I just left 2 weeks ago, and I had to go back to Warrington, and I couldn't play though. Warrington put a clause in that if we got them in the cup, I couldn't play against them. And I'll tell you what, they were brilliant against Warrington that day. Honestly, they give a right close game, and I wish I'd have played now, but it was nerve-wracking going back. And to be fair, I got a decent reception because I think a lot of the fans realised what, again, the effort I put in there, and I'm a nice lad, and they realise I weren't an idiot that just kind of tossed it off. So got a decent reception, and it was kind of just glad to go back and get a bit of a closure there, really. Say goodbye. So we had a good run there, and then we got into the playoffs. They changed the playoff system, the middle eights, and we were confident going to that. We had against a couple of Super League teams that were struggling at the time, but we got found out a little bit. To be honest, we didn't have that quality to real push on and do a job of it. And it was disappointing end to a year, really. I thought, it kind of, my aspirations to come back and get into Super League with Leigh had gone. But, I'd not given up hope because I thought we were assembling a good squad for the year after.
So we're going to say, did that just spur you on even more for the year after? Was that the year after when you got promoted?
Yeah, the year after. So we had that pre-season at Leigh, and that's when I got the captaincy. Rules, Paul gave me the captaincy, and I remember we were training Lanzarote on a warm weather camp, and he pulled me to one side. He said, how would you feel about captaining your own town club? And I was like, oh wow, I kind of filled up on training camp. I had to go to one side with Rolls because he said, listen, I've done it myself, mate. He said, I know. I said, I know you're feeling. Yeah, so the emotion there, we're filling up, and it were unbelievable. So he gave me the captaincy at Leigh, and it really, again, that spurred me on now to be even, get this team where we should be, and we ended up having a fantastic season.
So how did that feel then, to captaining your local hometown side to Super League? Yeah,
unbelievable. I said just being a captain at Leigh was fantastic, but to captain us in the middle eights, to them fantastic playoff results, and only losing one game all season.
Yeah,
it's up there, with any other honours for me. Being captain your own town club, into Super League, it ranks high up there with everything. Your internationals and your cups, and it was a fantastic year. One of the best years of my career. It was fantastic.
Right. So that brings us to sort of present day, more or less. What does the future hold for Micky then? What things have you got in the pipeline? I know you're currently coaching at Leigh, but is there any sort of thing you want to look to do in the future? Try your hand at?
Well,
or?
Yeah, obviously, when you start getting a little bit on in years at rugby, you've got to look at things, after rugby. So I opened the gym in, I've got my gym in Leigh, and that's been just quietly building over the last few years. And, it's something I think certainly with me coaching at rugby now, if the rugby doesn't take off, I'd look to certainly try and push the gym, because I feel like I've got something good there. Again, I'd like to think things I set myself on, like hard work and, being a likeable fella and these standards, I've tried to push that into the gym side. And, the people who come to the gym that, they do sing the praise and they love it there. So that's something I could look into building if I wanted to, and probably take it on full time and, do more with the gym. Because I feel like it's a real community gym as well. I have rugby teams coming in. I have like other people coming in, like, and using the space, and stuff like yourself. When you're setting up with your jiu-jitsu, I know it's a shame we couldn't kind of keep it on. It would just work quite right, but it was a good starting point for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Little things like that.
Note, I appreciate, because I wouldn't have been able to have like the sort of memberships that I've got now and the following that I've got now if it wasn't for you.
Again, that's me wanting to do something for you, mate. It was nothing about making money off you or anything like that. I'm not really about that at all. It was something like a good fella, looking to set himself, do something as well. So,
I appreciate that. We've got a picture of you on the wall that we bow to at the end of every class. So.
Well, I like it how you bow behind me action shot at the back. It was a nice little plug for me, that. Things like that. I've got the gym, but I have got aspirations to certainly coach, and I'm at the strength and conditioning side at the moment. Like I said, I've always had a keen interest in fitness side of training and the weights and that. So I'm going to give that a good go. But I have spoke to Duffs as well that I would like to dip my toe in on the coaching side as well, because I'd hate to go through life and I've not experienced have a chance on the coaching and stuff. I'd regret that. It might not be for me, but certainly there's some options there that's hopefully I can build on a few.
Definitely. So I appreciate your time, mate, and thanks for chatting to us. Just before we finish off, have you got any? There might be some young lads, young girls listening to this. Massive fans of yours. 500 career appearances, achieved everything that you've achieved during your career. What advice can you give to any youngsters wanting to either pursue a career in rugby or pursue a career in anything, really? What advice have you got for them?
Yeah, just a few things to me that I was kind of went off. Certainly when I got this opportunity to play professionally, do something you love. Just don't take things for granted. Make sure you challenge yourself every day, work hard. You've got to work in anything in life. If you want to be successful, you've got to work hard. But on the flip side, try and do it with a smile on your face. Enjoy it as well. Don't get to a point where you're working too hard, where you don't enjoy something anymore. So for me, it's getting that balance of really working hard, but enjoying it. And I said, don't take it for granted, and love every minute of it. And I think you can't go far wrong with a few of them things. And I said, nothing beats hard work for me, Dave.
Exactly, mate. And what is it? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, or something like that.
Yeah. I know there is a saying along the lines, and I think it just sums everything up in that one phrase. There, I think it's brilliant.
Yeah. Fantastic, mate. Again, I think we've just done over an hour there, and I appreciate you giving your time up. I know we've all got time on our hands, but to sit and chat to me, I appreciate it.
No, really enjoyed it. Again, you don't realise when you get into chatting, time goes quick, doesn't it? It's brilliant. I enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me on, mate.
No worries. And I'll be subscribing to the Micky and Woody show as well. That was good. I enjoyed that Leigh Briers and Paul Wellens episode.
It was. Again, it's a nice insight, isn't it? We said we're trying to make it similar to this, just nice and relaxed.
Yeah.
Bring a couple of topics up, but then kind of elaborate on that and go off on it a bit and have a good chat. And I think that's.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about it the other week, and I'm a big boxing and MMA fan. And what boxing and MMA does really well to get a following is they show the boxers' backstories so people can relate to them, and then you feel like you've got an interest, like a vested interest in these boxers and these MMA stars. So when you watch them, you know where they've come from. Like for example, Anthony Corolla, Jamie Moore. You know the backstories. You know what's happened to them. Whereas rugby league and rugby in general, I don't think offers that insight into the players' backgrounds and stuff. Whereas to show what you did, like with Leigh Briers, Paul Wellens, and and Woody and that really shows the human side of the players.
Yeah.
So people can start relating to them then more, and then you might get people going, I'm going to go and watch rugby this weekend all week because I know that player.
Yeah, that's exactly what we try to get, because every interview it's like, who's toughest player played against, who's your best team, it's like,
yeah,
you kind of, for me, I don't want to keep saying that every interview and stuff. I feel like today just a good chat about like little things like when we went off and like leadership qualities and that, like what makes Lee Breers tick, what makes Dave Drury tick, like just things like that, and like what away from here, and it's like it's, I don't know, I think that's where you kind of, people have a real interest in that. It's like, no disrespect, people have heard the toughest player before and all that, I just think it's nice. Even we're trying to get like different sports as well. So we're trying to get like a boxer on, or football or golf or anything. Just there's quite a lot. You don't realise there's quite a lot of sports there. They're into the rugby league as well. So
definitely. Yeah.
Touch on that, but then have a touch on like what makes them tick, and it's probably nice for us as well, as we're from a different background as well. What makes what focuses a golfer. Because we could probably take some stuff away from them as well.
Yeah, so, and I think it'd be interesting to see how much you've actually got in common as well at the high levels of sport. Even though it is completely different, golf compared to rugby, there'll be a lot of traits and qualities, similarities, that you'll have. Yeah. So I just thought it was a good angle coming from that to learn the human side of the athletes, and
Well, again, I think like, I don't know, a lot of people they think you're robots, don't they? Like you're a rugby player, you've no feelings. You've been brought up like on a rugby field doing it, but that rugby field was just me with the ball in my hand, kicking it with me, practicing everything. Like Brazy said, like you sneak onto De La Salle Field and over gardens with the ball, and it's like it's fascinating, isn't it? So hopefully we can get a few more on, and so hopefully go all right.
Yeah, so to me, well, I'll be keeping update anyway. I've subscribed to it, so I'll share it around and that. Brilliant. It's my little following anyway. Yeah. Yeah,
no, I'll get on to this as well. It's nice to. Who've you had on previous to this?
I had a few lads who I used to work with, starting it off when I used to be in the MOD police with them. They live down south. I've had a lad who runs a gym in St Helens, Doc.
Right.
I've had Jamie Acton's been on.
Oh, Jamie been on. I was Jamie.
He's all right. He was talking about his sort of mental health stuff when he finished playing rugby and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if you know Charlie Bowling, British wrestler.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
He won bronze in the Commonwealth in
he did.
18. He's going to be. His was recorded last week, so that goes out tomorrow.
Right.
Yourself, there's I've got a fella called Keith Mayer coming on next week, who's Liverpool Academy under 16s coach.
All right. Good.
So just trying to get interesting people to, like you said, talk about the backgrounds and that, but the human elements as well, what they've been through, what their thoughts were, and stuff like that.
Brilliant. Good.
No. But Sal, mate, anyway, thanks very much.
No, cheers, Dave. Enjoyed that, mate. Thanks for having me on. Brilliant.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, mate. Thanks a lot, anyway.
All right.
I'll see you soon, mate. Anyway, take it easy.
Yeah, stay safe, mate. I'll see you soon. All right.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers.